Hello and welcome. It's 8 p.m. in Banjul, and this is the Gambia Radio and Television Services, broadcasting for viewers in the Gambia and around the world. Now, in our headlines, Vice President Dr. Aliu Badara Diouf receives in audience the outgoing ambassador of the People's Republic of China. The new Works Minister, Ibrahim Estila, familiarizes himself with ongoing works of various projects under his ministry's purview. The Minister of Basic and Secondary Education is hosting the third African Continental Curriculum Conference in Banjul, and victims of communal violence in Kermot Ali village in the Central River region received timely humanitarian assistance from the NDMA. In sports, the National Athletics Championship wraps up at the Independence Stadium with some heated contests on the tracks. On the internationals, a leaked draft majority opinion from the U.S. Supreme Court shows that the justices are poised to overturn the landmark court ruling that legalized abortion in 1973. Well, viewers, those are the headlines and much more coming ahead with me, Mary Anjai Ajayi, and do stay with us. Begin this bulletin with His Excellency Vice President Dr. Aliu Badara Diouf, who on Tuesday received in audience the ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the Gambia, His Excellency Ma Jian-chun, as he prepares to wrap up his tenure in the Gambia. Rohi Bitey tells us more.
His Excellency Ma Jian-chun, the ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the Gambia, paid a courtesy call to His Excellency Vice President Aliu Badara Diouf Tuesday morning as he prepares to end his tenure, as well as congratulate him on his new appointment.
We record the good moment when we worked together before when His Excellency were as the Minister of High Education. We reviewed the outcomes in higher education and capacity building we got several years before.
Ambassador Ma, whose tenure has seen significant progress in the Gambian mainland-China relation, expressed his delight for contributing to the two countries' bilateral cooperation.
In the past few years, under the guidance of our President, His Excellency Xi Jinping, and President, His Excellency Adam Barrow, I fulfilled my mission in the Gambia, and I do all best within my capacity, and I'm very happy to see many outcomes.
Asked about his most cherished memories of the Gambia, Ambassador Ma has this to say.
When I go back, I will remember my sincere friends, and I will remember the beautiful views of this wonderland. I will remember the Smile Coast. I will remember many things in my life in the past few years. All of this experience will become a cherished memory in my life.
Now that he prepares to leave as his tenure is about to end, hopes are high that the cooperation between the two countries will continue to strengthen as China is one of Gambia's largest trading partners. Rohi Bitey, GRTS.
Now, the Insurance Association of the Gambia on Tuesday organized a caravan to commemorate Insurance Week. The event raises awareness about insurance activities Janki Ture took part in the event and she now tells us more.
The Insurance Association of the Gambia, IAG, was formed on the 11th of August 1987 by insurance companies operating in the Gambia. The association, comprising 11 companies, embarked on a sponsored work to sensitize the people on the activities of the association and its products in insurance services. Today's March Pass shows another milestone for IAG by bringing members together since establishment. The president of the association, Bajan Makaire, cited the significance of the insurance services whilst calling on the population and businesses to subscribe to their products.
I think insurance, as everybody knows, is really very important and pivotal in the socio-economic development of the country. And because we provide protection, financial protection, that is to say, against a variety of situations, misfortunes that are unforeseeable. So we feel we need to really just sensitize people at all times, and in particular to give it the focus during a particular time of the period. And this is why we have it as tradition that every year we hold an insurance awareness week wherein we get into a lot of activities and get a lot of stakeholders actually really involved in seeing the way forward for insurance in this country. Because it's the country that matters, it's the economy of the Gambia that really matters.
Since inception, the association has made tremendous achievements in the country, according to officials. For Molifa Sane, insurance plans are beneficial for families, serving as social security for property for unseen circumstances. He highlighted some of the challenges they are faced with.
We are really supporting, because any policy which is, we own the right, know that each policy, government owns about 15% tax. So we are really contributing. We want to do more, and we can do that when we are independent. There will be on our own now, like Ghana. You go to Ghana, they are independent. You go to Nigeria, they are independent. They can send so many things to the National Assembly, they can approve and then move forward. That is the process we are. And then, like I said, we are about 11 in number in the Gambia, but all the companies are part of the association.
We continue to say that successful economies must be backed by a successful insurance industry, as insurance is the only business that guarantees all other businesses that in times of difficulties, we give them the necessary support to continue. I mean, they say you need to plan. When you get into business or whatever you are into in life, needs planning. But certainly if you do not plan, indeed you have planned to fail. So when you say you want to start a business, a shop in the Serekunda market, you must be ready to say, what is it that I need to do that when there is fire disaster, I can fall back on something and continue to do my business? They say insurance.
Through this sensitization work, officials believed many people will understand the importance of insurance services and policies, as well as operations of insurance companies. As an awareness week, officials say a lineup of activities are underway as part of activities marking the day. Janke Ture, GRTS News.
And now the Minister of Transport, Works and Infrastructure, Ibrahim Asila, is embarking on a nationwide familiarization tour to gather first-hand information on various ongoing projects supervised by his ministry. Day one of Minister Silla's tour took him to ongoing project sites in the capital, Banjul. Aminata Isanyang is traveling with the tour entourage, and she filed in this report.
In his first major undertaking since assuming office, Works and Transport Minister Honorable Ibrahim Asila embarks on a familiarization tour in the metropolis to assess the progress of various projects on the implementation. The Transport Minister tour started in the capital city, where officials paid a special visit to the mausoleum of the first president, Sir Dawda Kairaba Jawara, at the National Assembly. Works on the symbolic national structure carrying the remains of the country's founding father enforced president are being supervised by the Ministry of Works, which intends to design a memorial edifice, including a library and a museum at the site.
Project is going as planned. As you can see, it's one of its kind in the country, fully built with concrete. And one fascinating thing about it is 9 meters span. Now, hardly you will go to buildings, you see that you have 9 meters between supports.
The minister was taken on a tour of the edifice, which officials say will be completed in September. Inside the capital city, works are progressing in different areas as the government of the Gambia moves to rehabilitate roads, sewage and sustainable drainage system.
Banjul being the capital city of the Gambia belongs to all of us, and we are all proud to see our city clean and nice like this. But we'll be even more proud if we can see it cleaner and nice, and that is why we want to see a very strong collaboration between the city council and the ministry and other stakeholders to ensure that the progress that have already been registered in the ongoing works can be sustained. We are extremely very happy.
It's a gigantic development for residents here, once facing severe drainage and sewage challenges, especially during the rainy season. Adama Sise expressed delight and appreciation to the government of the Gambia for improving their living condition and the capital's outlook. This development has ushered in massive improvement for this neighborhood, thanks to the government for taking a step to rehabilitate the environment. We are as well grateful to Honorable Ibrahim Silla for paying us a visit. Banjul is witnessing a defining facelift, bringing relief for residents of the island city who often encountered invasion of mosquitoes and flooding due to poor drainage systems.
The mosquitoes and stench used to torment our lives. There was a time that no one finds comfort outside, but we are grateful to the Borough administration for improving our living condition.
To ensure long-term improvement and a sustainable drainage and sewage system, contractors have incorporated standard mechanisms covering all areas in the island city. In line with the master plan and trade gateway project, efforts are also being driven to strengthen the position of the port as a gateway to regain its lost glory for effective regional competition. Minister Silla was received by the Managing Director of the Gambia Ports Authority, Usman M. Jobate.
The purpose of the visit is for the Minister to gain first-hand knowledge about the situation in the ports, particularly the capacity constraints that we're experiencing. And you may be aware that there's some project proposals that have been launched in the local newspapers with a view to launching the port expansion project. So this visit will accord the Minister first-hand knowledge about what the project components are and the way forward to increase the capacity of the port so that we can provide a more efficient service.
The Transport Minister toured various sections of the ports and engaged officials manning diverse operations to understand existing challenges.
We have to say that we are impressed with what we have seen, but that does not also mean that we don't have room for improvement. And those things we have discussed with the various stakeholders. From our meeting just concluded, and I'm sure they have taken note of those concerns, and they will take those concerns very seriously.
Minister Silla's tour is a vital opportunity for exposure to ongoing projects, garnering first-hand information to efficiently support advances in the works, transport and infrastructure sector. Aminata E. Sanyang, GRTS.
Now moving on, Riders for Health, the Gambia has given 30 motorcycles to the Ministry of Health for onward delivery to field extension workers in the Directorate of Western 1 and 2. Louis Mendy reports.
A diligent move to strengthen quality healthcare service delivery, Riders for Health, the Gambia has delivered 30 motorbikes to the Ministry of Health for use by its health field workers in the West Coast and Western regions. Usman Yabo, the board chair at the NGO, called it a milestone in the quest to help the government achieve set goals in health.
It's only Allah that can tell you the amount of work, the amount of commitment they are doing in terms of ensuring that the ministry is functioning.
Riders for Health is an NGO running transportation system for health programs in Africa. In the Gambia, its relationship with the Ministry of Health started way back in 2002 when they signed an MOU, and since then it has been very fruitful. The NGO has been managing the ministry's transport, including ambulances, motorbikes, and generators. Dr. Bite, the Director of Health Services, said motorbikes are crucial for speedy and quality healthcare delivery.
Our relationship has been very historic, and they've taken a big chunk of the burden of Minister of Health and are executing it very well. So we thank you for that, and we thank you for the partnership.
Alaji Sankare is the Regional Director, Health Services, Western Region 1.
We know how significant mobility is to provision of health service delivery in this country. And for public health officers, community health nurses, leprosy TB inspectors, and other allied health workers using mobility to reach their service delivery points, it is significant to ensure that if you don't have mobility, access to service provision becomes a nightmare. And I want to inform you that you have to ensure that you take these motorcycles with good precautions. You can see how strong the motorcycles are.
At the Riders for Health, the philosophy is no distance or terrain should be a barrier to health.
This particular event we are doing is handing over motorcycles to the Ministry of Health. They are part of a contract we have. We have with them what we call an agreement, TAM, Transport Asset Management Agreement. In the agreement, we're supposed to supply vehicles, ambulances, trekking vehicles, motorcycles to them. And every 5 or so years, we replace them. 5 years, 7 years, 8 years maximum, we replace them. And this is part of the contract we have with them, and we're doing that. Last year, in September, we replaced 30 motorcycles. We have 61 now, 61, 30 for West Coast 1 and 2, well, Western region, and 31 for Basse, Upper River region. So this is part of our services with the Ministry of Health.
Beneficiaries of the motorbikes were also given extra training for safety on the road and longevity of the materials. Louis Mendy, GRTS.
Now the Gambia is hosting the 3rd African Continental Curriculum Conference underway in Bijilo. The Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, Claudiana Cole, officially opened the conference meant to share experiences and expertise on improving curriculum content alignment on the African continent. Now GRTS's Ibrahim Majalo has the details.
An annual event designed to discuss challenges and way forward of education system in Africa. The Banjul Conference focuses on matching curriculum content with education technology for sustainable development. The Director of Curriculum Research, Evaluation and Development Directorate of the Gambia, Mamadou Dieng, says improved curriculum is required to change the dynamics in the education system of the continent.
Education, technology, and curriculum alignment, I believe we require a paradigm shift in terms of the pedagogy that we apply in schools, in terms of the way we design and conduct examinations and assessment, as well as the way we monitor and follow up on learning outcomes.
Education experts outlined the need for inclusive ideas, factoring useful sources of knowledge from outside the classroom, such as indigenous knowledge of the African society. The Secretary General of the African Curriculum Association says youth should be equipped with relevant skills to be confident in exploring critical employment opportunities and to be in charge of the future of the continent.
We need to expand curriculum development to focus more on acquisition of skills, attitudes, and values relevant to the African child to enable him or her to fit in the world of work if education is to have the desired quality.
The Minister of Basic and Secondary Education of the Gambia, Claudiana Cole, describes the Banjul meeting as essential in finding solutions to unexpected interruptions in the education system of Africa due to the COVID-19 pandemic. She hinted on the need to embrace technology and innovation going forward.
Addressing the inequalities accentuated by the pandemic requires rigorous deliberations and coordinated efforts to align curriculum and related processes for teaching and learning in the technological era. Achieving the quality education envisaged, therefore, depends on a sustained dialogue and collaboration to share findings supported by research. This conference represents one of the much needed strategies for Africa and our respective education policies.
This three-day meeting is meant to review the content of education materials that are used in schools and vocational centers in Africa. The objective is to ensure quality and global citizens' education to prepare the young generation for the new era of science and technology, not forgetting the African culture and values. Ibrahim Jallo, GRTS News.
Now, the National Disaster Management Agency, with support from the Gambia government, have presented rice, sugar and cooking oil to the victims of Kermot Ali violence in a rapid response to the needs of villagers. Mamadou Lamin Sane has more.
A brief tour of the crime scene in Kermot Ali village by officials of the National Disaster Management Agency is meant to examine the level of destruction meted on the families of victims in the area. The rapid response measures taken seeks to provide first-hand information for the disaster agency officials moving to support victims of the unfortunate situation. 3 compounds of 7 households are affected, with some completely burned down, leaving victims with nothing. Many valuables got destroyed, and it is really painful for us. We could have retaliated, but all we want is peace in the community. Village elders, eyewitnesses of Kermot Ali Gambia, took time to explain how everything unfolded, resulting to the destruction. The village alcalde was standing not far from here, and one man came with a huge stick, attempting to hit him, then later set his house on fire. Some of the boys also came to our family compound and set the houses on fire. After the assessment, the National Disaster Management Agency handed over 2 bags of rice, 1 bag of sugar, and 10 liters of cooking oil to each of the victims.
Any disaster situation, when a situation of this happen, what we conduct a rapid assessment just to make sure that we stabilize their humanitarian need. The office is coming here tomorrow to conduct a rapid assessment, which will inform our next stage of intervention.
This came courtesy of the Gambia government through the National Disaster Management Agency to help stabilize the situation of the victims at the aftermath of the violence. The government of the Gambia and its counterpart in Senegal is doing everything possible to make sure violence like this never happen again. It could be one serious situation experienced with some irreplaceable damages, but the response from the government through the agency is a sign of relief, which will provide some consumption needs as the agency continues its assessment to help rebuild destroyed infrastructure. structures in the village. Mood Lamin Sane reporting for GRTS News from the Central River region.
Now, officials of the Roots Project and Sofanyama Marketing Federation in the Lower River region recently handed over a cold storage facility to AfroWorks Company for the start of construction of the facility at the Soma Market. The handing over ceremony was graced by top officials of the Ministry of Agriculture and other NGOs. Well, Usman Balde has more.
The construction of the cold storage facility is meant to encourage women and youths to venture into agro-business activities such as processing, packing, and marketing to prevent post-harvest losses. Speaking shortly after the event, Project Director of Roots, Mamour Alunjai, disclosed that the project is set to construct 15 cold storage facilities across the country and advised Sofa Nyama Marketing Federation to ensure the sustainability of the facility.
The cold storage is for them. It is theirs to own, to manage in a sustainable manner. That is why we ask them to put up a proposal, but more importantly, to also make a counterpart contribution. So 20% of the facility is being funded by the Federation. So the message is it is for theirs to own, to manage in a sustainable way.
The Executive Director of Freedom from Hunger Campaign, Alpha Khan, explained that Sofa Nyama Marketing Federation was established to promote vegetable in the region for improved supply and affordability of vegetables.
When they grow their vegetables, normally they don't have a say in the pricing. They don't have storage facilities because at the end of the day, when they transport their vegetables to the market to sell, sometimes not everything is bought. What the leftover is normally sold at giveaway prices in some cases, or sometimes is given to people or it is thrown away. This has created significant losses to their income. So it was thought that maybe one way of trying to address that kind of loss is to create some form of a cold store, marketing facility, or a cold store whereby the leftover can be kept. It will not be spoiled, and in the following day when they come back, they can just retrieve it and then go back to the market and sell.
In his speech, the Minister of Agriculture, Demba Sabali, assured government's commitment to the development of agriculture and the promotion of commercial agriculture in particular. He said the construction of cold storage facility, which immensely contributes to the reduction of post-harvest losses.
The cold storage facility will be built at the cost of $2.85 million. And the construction period should take a maximum of 6 months only. I therefore urge the contractor as well as the supervisor to ensure that the work is of high quality, it's durable, and is done within the specified period, that is the 6 months period, to enhance sustainability. While the high quality of cold store facility is an essential component of sustainability, equally important are the pillars of local ownership.
Lamin Jack, the director of AfroWorks Company, assured the quality work and timely completion of project and calls for the effective contribution of all stakeholders during the implementation of the works. Usman Balde, GRTS News.
Now, Future in Our Hands, the Gambia is conducting a regional women conference to promote political transparency for increased participation of women and youth in national development. The activity is funded by the National Endowment for Democracy. Our URR correspondent Seydou Camara witnessed the opening of the event, and he filed in this report.
The day-long conference seeks to promote political transparency for increased participation of women and youth in national development. The program is funded by the National Endowment for Democracy, implemented by Future in Our Hands, the Gambia, meant to empower women in politics. Fundraising manager Future in Our Hands, Yankuba Mane, explained the importance of the conference, aimed at strengthening the voice of the voiceless, including women in governance whose voices are less heard.
So the whole idea is trying to kind of promote women's participation in national development, women's participation in politics. Not only just, it's not, for them to go and be, dancers and whatever in political platforms and stuff like that. But then what is their role, their strategic positions? They need to occupy strategic position in the political landscape. So this is the idea, trying to kind of strengthen, look for ways and means of strengthening their voices in governance and broader society.
Mr. Mane further outlined the areas of concentration of the conference to sensitize and raise awareness of women.
We are looking at the different thematic areas that these people are really going to talk about. One of them is women's participation in the socio-economic transformation and growth in the Gambia. Participation. Do you understand? And the second one is cultural barriers that kind of hinder women's involvement in politics. Do you understand? Those are very important, and people really need to kind of understand them and see how we address them. Do you understand? And then also democratic governance and respect for human rights. Do you understand? With particular focus on women and youth. For that one is really important. People, the democratic governance and respect for human rights need to be very clear. People need to understand, what governance is all about, what democracy is all about, rule of law. People need to understand it and apply it. Do you understand? And then the fourth theme that we're talking about is inclusive social development and gender equality. These are the topics or themes that we're really trying to look at.
For the project manager, Ibrahim Adrame, the forum is part of efforts meant to promote political pluralism for the involvement of women and youth in national development.
We have a number of activities in this project. This is one of them, which is a regional step-down women's conference to bring women together, opinion leaders, so that they're able to discuss their problems, their aspirations, for strengthening their position. We want that networking. We want that that partnership between various women's groups, so that together they are stronger. We want to support them through training, through counseling, mentorship, and all that, so that it becomes a national force to be reckoned with.
It is hoped that at the end of the program, organizers will be able to find solutions to key areas that hinder women political participation at the regional level.
There cannot be a better way of participating than being, leaders in their own, lives. That is, instead of, following people, clapping for politicians here and there, it's important that, women also are aware of the powers, they possess to aspire to become leaders and bring, more development to their, own communities.
According to organizers, the project also seeks to strengthen democracy and good governance through interface dialogue with lawmakers and other stakeholders, including electorates, on the role of National Assembly members and district councillors in their various respective constituencies. Steady Camara, reporting for TRS News from Basse Upper River Region.
Well, we will now take a break, but up next is sports news. Do stay with us.
Oh, there's a new update from your favorite GSM operator, AfriCell.
For all of you that have struggled to buy cash power beyond $7,000, AfriCell has done it again. The limit to buy cash power is now up to $30,000. Oh yes, $30,000.
Buy all the cash power you want from your AfriMoney account by dialing *777#.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow.
It's an amazing offer. AfriMoney just got way better. The threshold for cash in and cash out on your AfriMoney has been increased.
Where it used to be 10,000 per transaction, now it has been increased to 30,000. Meaning, your AfriMoney account, you can now withdraw and deposit up to $30,000 at once.
Cashing in and out just got 3 times easier. For more info, call 777.
Where AfriCell goes, nobody dares to follow. to follow.
AFRO wishes to remind you that obstetric fistula can be prevented and in most cases can be treated. Obstetric fistula is a hole that forms between a woman's or a girl's birth canal and bladder or rectum, caused by prolonged obstructed labor without prompt medical help. As a result, the survivors of this injury leak urine and or feces uncontrollably through the vagina. About 2 million women and girls live with this injury in developing countries, including the Gambia.
As a cured fistula patient, I urge all affected women and girls to seek medical care as soon as possible so that, like me, you can also live a happy, healthy, and productive life. I also ask the government to provide us functional emergency obstetric services so that the lives of more women can be saved.
I call on all parents to discourage early marriages and pregnancies which contribute to obstetric fistula while promoting good nutrition and education.
Hello!
Welcome back. Now we take a look at sports because the Gambia Athletics Association wrapped up a 3-day national championship for athletes in the country. The event brought together different athletics clubs and individuals athletes who competed in different tracks and held events. Now, Famara Baji witnessed the final day of the events at the Independence Stadium in Bakau. Let's take a look.
Athletics is one of those sports that has taken the name of the Gambia into the limelight. Most of the country's outstanding athletes gain much needed recognition from events like the National Championship. This competition brings together athletes representing different clubs, with some participating independently. This is an avenue for the athletes to showcase their talents in different tracks and field events. Organizers explain the goal behind the championship.
From this, there is the possibility that your performance can make you represent the country. There is a possibility of you being selected to represent the Gambia at international competitions.
To try and get scholarships for them. Although we planned that since last year, but because of the COVID, it was not possible. But we will continue our consultation with our friends in the United States, Nigeria, and others so that they can at least recruit some of our athletes to train at a higher level.
Day 3 of the event saw some shocking and intriguing races with emerging athletes like Mariama Kamara, proving strong for some notable athletes like Olo Buaro in the 400 and 800 meters respectively. The outstanding Idrissa Marong representing the Scan Aid Academy was simply outstanding even against the police male athletes. But Maimuna Jallo of the Gambia Police Force was also no match for the female athletes in the sprint events. Other track events on the sidelines were also competed by different athletes. This includes the unpopular javelin throw. Organizers say they are pleased with the championship.
Well, I am really impressed because of the fact that this year we have 17 participating teams. And you see the crowd. I think for almost 3-4 years we didn't have this type of crowd to come and support athletics. This shows that athletics is really in the right direction. And I appeal to the public always to come and witness a national championship because these are the people that will represent the Gambia in international competitions.
Some athletes like Safiatou Sane, who won the 3,000 meters and 1,500 meter events respectively, and the police athletes share their impression of the events.
We still have young ones that are assets still. When we leave, they can take over. So I think gradually, the way they are coming, it will continue like that. And we are not even expecting like
majority of these people to come, because we have been healing national championship here. The people we used to see, like the supporters we used to see, is few. But now I guess athletics is getting power in the country.
It means a lot to me because it can help me to move on my career, and some people can see me if they don't have the chance to come and watch me here, but they will have the chance to watch me on TV. And I'm saying Alhamdulillah, I have make it again like before.
This is a championship used by the Gambia Athletics Association as a scouting avenue. There were no attractive awards, but certificates were presented to outstanding performers, including the young athlete Mariama Tambedu of the Gunjur Athletics Club, who surprisingly finished third in the women's 3,000-meter race. Farmer Abadi, GRTS News.
Well, viewers, that report by Farmer Abaji brings us to the end of this news bulletin. But before we take leave of you, here is a quick look at our top stories once again. Vice President Dr. Aliou Badara Diouf receives in audience the outgoing ambassador of the People's Republic of China to the Gambia. The new Works Minister, Ibrahim Silla, familiarizes himself with ongoing works of various projects under his ministry's purview. The Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education is hosting the 3rd African Continental Curriculum Conference in Banjul. And victims of communal violence in Kermot Ali village in the Central River region receive timely humanitarian assistance from the NDMA. In sports, the National Athletics Championship wraps up at the Independence Stadium with some heated contests on the tracks. On the internationals, a leaked draft majority opinion from the U.S. Supreme Court shows that the justices are poised to overturn the landmark court ruling that legalized abortion in 1973. And that's all from me and the news team. Thanks for the pleasure of your company, and do stay with us for more interesting programs here on GRTS TV. And we'll be back in the studio at 10 p.m. for more news and updates. It's bye for now.